everyone, it's Whack Anime What If here to present you with What If Deku had the I.M.P quirk, part 3. I hope you all enjoy and I hope you like it. If you do, make sure you smash that like button into oblivion. Let's go ahead and get into this. Currently, Izuku, Blitzo, Millie, Moxie, and Luna have just walked to the portal into their office. They immediately see someone in Blitzo's chair. The man turns around, and it's Alistair, is what Blitzo says. He pulls out his gun, immediately points it towards Alistair. Alistair immediately swipes his hand to the left, and the gun flies out of his hand. Alistair immediately says, it's not very polite when you meet someone to point a gun at them. But I mean, I guess those are quite the hell of manners. Immediately Izuku says, "What are you here for, Alistair?" And immediately Alistair says, "I'm here to make a deal with you, of course," while he zooms towards Midoriya, and he immediately starts shaking his hand and says, "It's nice to meet you. You're the man that keeps on making portals to the human world, right?" Immediately Izuku says, "I only made 2 portals. One was when I put his sandwich in the human world." And Blitzo says, "Damn it, I wanted that sandwich. I looked all over for it. I couldn't find it." And immediately Izuku looks at him and says, "I don't even know where I put your sandwich, but just make another sandwich." And Blitzo says, "That sandwich's special. It's my sandwich." And Izuku just looks at him dumbfounded. So does Alistair. Alistair says, "You opened up a portal to the human world to get rid of his sandwich." As he points towards Blitzo, he starts bursting out laughing and saying, "Do you know how hard it is to go to the human world? That artifact of a book that those smucks over there use, no offense." And immediately all of them end up saying, Blitzo says, "None taken." While Luna, Moxie, Millie say, "Some taken." Midoriya immediately says, "Well, one question. Why are you laughing so hard about that?" Well, he says, "Oh yeah, as I was getting onto it, we have a book that sends us to the human world whenever we need, but only overlords usually have it. And I'm banned from having one since I caused a fiasco last time I went there." And Midoriya said, what was the fiasco?" Immediately, Alistair says, "Well, I may have caused an apocalypse." Izuku immediately says, yeah, one more thing." And Alistair says, "Yeah? What is it?" Izuku says, "Bye." Alistair says, "Wait, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, wait, no. He looks downwards and he sees a portal. And he looks upwards at Midoriya and he says, "I hate you," before falling down the portal. And Izuku just says, "I hate you too," closes the portal very quickly. And Alistair just is currently on the ground. And he's wondering where the heck he is. He's not exactly in hell. There's clouds everywhere. And when he looks left to right, he just sees a golden gate right to the left of him, and he ends up saying, "Wait, am I in heaven? Wow, this is quite funny." And he sees tons of angels in front of him, all with spears aimed at him. Immediately, Alucard says, "Now this is gonna be fun." He immediately rushes towards the angels and rips off all their heads instantly in one move. And he says, "Now, let's get this party started." He starts causing complete mayhem, and then the scene breaks. Back to Midoriya. Midoriya ends up saying, "Wait, I think I teleported him somewhere else." While Moxie, Millie, Blitzo, and Luna say, "Wait, where'd you teleport him?" And Izuku says, "I don't know. Let me check." He puts a little portal out in front of him just to see what's happening. He looks through the portal and he sees white clouds everywhere, and he sees Alistair in the middle with tons of people that look like angels, all being ripped to shreds by this man. And Alistair just looks at the portal and he starts waving, "Hi there." And Midoriya just immediately closes it back up. He's like, nope. "Well, I seem to have sent him to heaven." While he looks backwards at the dumbfounded Blitzo, Millie, Moxie, and Luna. And they all say, "Wait, you can send people to heaven?" And he says, I didn't know I could do that. I just wanted to send him anywhere but here." but it sent him there, I guess. So, well, yeah, I don't want to bring him back here, but if he's there for that long, wouldn't it cause a lot of trouble? And Blitzo, Moxie, Millie, and Luna say, well, it will cause trouble, but it's not that bad. I mean, him being here would be bad because he'd try to pressure you into making a deal. You'd make a deal and he'd alternately screw you over. While Zuko says, yeah, you're right. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and go to sleep. And all of them immediately go to their rooms and just go to sleep. While Alistair is in heaven just tearing everyone up. And running across Michael, who's just literally Michael, who just literally sends him back to hell. Like, because he had enough of that happening. So once Alistair's sent back to hell, he's currently trying to find where Izuku is, and then he realizes he's probably just still in the office. So he immediately runs towards there, and Izuku, who's sleeping, he hears a knock on his window. He looks outside his window while opening the blinds, and he sees Alistair in the dark with glowing red eyes staring at Izuku, hands pressed up against the window, and he says, "Oh, hi there." And Izuku starts screaming like, "It's the radio demon, everyone! It's the radio demon! He's here!" And immediately, Luna, Moxie, Millie, and Millie all come bursting down in Izuku's room. Millie comes out with a whole chainsaw, Moxie with a sniper, and Blitzo with a flintlock, while Luna just comes out with her bare fangs and sharp teeth. While all simultaneously looking at the window where the radio demon is. And he's like, "Well, that's quite the welcome." As he just pops in, he just like breaks the glass and pops in through a shadow. He turns himself through a shadow, pops in behind Midoriya, and says, "That's quite the welcome. You learned better than before, I guess." As he puts his hand on Midoriya's shoulder and he says, "So, about that deal." While Midoriya says, "Yeah, I don't want to make a deal with you." Immediately, Alistair says, "Alright, I won't make you make a deal, but I'll give you something." He hands him one talisman, and he puts it into Midoriya's hand. Once it's in Midoriya's hand, it immediately fades into his skin, which makes all of them alarmed. Blitzo starts shooting Flintlock right at Alistair, but immediately Alistair just about dodges to the left, and he points his hand towards Blitzo's gun. Blitzo's like, "Not today, I'm going to have my grip on it as hard as possible. You won't be able to get my gun away from me this fast. I've been fapping for years to be able to get this grip strength." All of a sudden, Alistair moves his hand to the right, and Blitzo just gets flung to the right because he was holding onto the gun, and he gets knocked into the Midoriya's closet and breaks it. And Luna runs up towards Alistair and tries to slice at him with her claws, but all Alistair does is just dodge it, bring out a shadow, and his shadow wraps around Luna and binds her, while Millie's starting to run at him with a chainsaw, which he just merely grabs his hand outwards towards the chainsaw, and shadows appear out of his hand, and immediately they wrap around the chainsaw, breaking it, as he grabs Millie by the head and throws Millie quite a far distance outside the hotel, outside of the I.M.P office, where Midoriya sleeps in a room next to it. Literally threw her right out of the whole building, and she just ended up bringing out a katana from her back and slicing directly into the building and sliding downwards while her sword is stuck into the side of the building while sliding downwards. She makes it back to the first floor, and she runs back in, trying to get back up there, while Moxie's trying to headshot Alistair, while Alistair merely puts up a shadow shield in front of him and blocks all the bullets, and he throws the bullets away, walks towards Moxie, pets him on the head, and says, "Wow, little girl, why don't you, not fight me?" is what Alistair says. Alistair ends up saying, "I don't really want to fight any of you. I just came here to give him that gift." While Blitzo says, "What the fuck is your gift? You just put a talisman inside of Izuku's arm. We don't even know what it does." While Alistair says, "Oh yeah, pardon me. I was going to explain, but you all started trying to kill me." He immediately said, "Well, this is what it is. That talisman allows him to summon me directly towards him. One time. So make sure you use that wisely, kid," is what he says before he disappears. And Millie, who finally just made it all the way up to the flight of stairs, opened Midoriya's door and said, I missed him, didn't I? And Blitzo, Moxie, and Luna look at her, and so does Midoriya, and they say, "Yeah, you missed him," all simultaneously. And Blitzo just says, "But apparently he wasn't going to do anything. So let's go ahead and go to sleep." All of them go to sleep. Midoriya is wondering how they're going to fix that window. And also, his closet's ruined. He immediately thinks this, and he goes to sleep. While Blitzo just apologizes about the closet and the door. And before he goes to sleep, he says, "Wait, what about the door?" As he immediately opens the door one more time. And because of how hard they kicked the door previously, when Millie opened it, it was fine. But once Blitzo tried to open it to lead out, it just falls on them. It falls on Blitzo. And Luna has to lift up the door off of Blitzo. And he says, "Yeah, we'll fix this in the morning, don't worry." Izuku immediately goes to sleep, wakes up the next day, and sees everything's fixed. And he's like, wow, they really do fix stuff really quickly. He gets out of bed. He walks right out of his room, looks at Moxie, Millie, and Luna and Blitzo. And they all say, "Hey, guess what? We're going to the human world again." Immediately, Midoriya says, "Wait, am I going to go back to school?" And they say, "Oh, of course not. You're going to go back to school in maybe a few days, since it took a while to get your transfer papers. So you're going to follow us towards a mission." While Midoriya immediately says, "What mission is it? Is it another assassination mission?" And they say, "Yep. You're going to be the sniper." He hands Midoriya the sniper rifle and immediately says, "You're going to also have to send us towards this certain family. Our client is very, very aggressive about this." Immediately, the client in said conversation walks right towards Blitzo and says, "Go ahead and kill her now. She literally cheated on me. She made my husband cheat on me. And she also, after I shot her, survived, and everyone keeps on saying she's a fucking hero." While she explains this right towards Blitzo and all of them, she starts blurting out all the things that happened. That she was a normal teacher. She forgot her husband's anniversary at her husband's birthday. Once she basically Skyped him, realized they were having an affair, so she came in with a shotgun and started shooting them after throwing a kid through a roof. Which Izuku said, "Wow, you're very aggressive." And then immediately she ran up towards Izuku, grabbed him by the collar, and threw him through the roof. And he's like, "Well, fair point," as he's stuck in the roof. Luna, Moxie, Blitzo, and Millie just get him down, and they listen to the rest of the story. And she says, "Yeah, so after all of that, after I shot her in the head, she survived. She started fucking pretty much everyone, every man that was in sight, and she just overall was treated as a hero. She gained so much money, popularity, that it's just infuriating." While Blitzo is drawing a doodle on his notebook, Luna is listening to rock. Millie and Moxie are both literally just smooching, and Izuku is the only one paying attention. She immediately says, "I like that kid. I don't like any of you." While they all get up and out of all the things they're doing, they say, "Well, we're the ones that's going to be killing them, so you should like us. Also, could you make sure to go ahead and, pay us?" She immediately says, "Well, I'll pay you after it's done." Immediately they say, "All right, so let's go back in the office to discuss about the payment." So Blitzo takes her into the office and they start talking. Blitzo immediately is talking to her. Moxie and Millie are practicing their aim on different photographs that are on a dartboard. Immediately starting to shoot at them, all until reaching towards the family. Once he reached towards the family, he ended up saying, "But they look like such a happy family. What scenario would we have to shoot a family?" While Millie ended up saying, "Well, there's tons of scenarios. They could be a family of cannibals. They could be a family full of perverts. I mean, that guy right there with the mustache right there, that guy right there looks like a pedophile, or he looks like someone who, donates to tons of poor, needy people and immediately takes away the funding right afterwards. And that girl right there looks like the type that will literally go through a man's entire heart, go through a relationship, and then stomp it to the ground, while that wife looks like a cheating whore." And immediately, she points towards the little kids and say, "They also watch while that's happening." And immediately, Moxie says, "Well, you don't know that." While Midoriya just says, "Can you just go ahead and give me the crossbow?" And he says, You're only 4. You're not supposed to be even operating guns. Sir let you do that. I don't know why he did." While he just snatches the crossbow from Moxie, and Moxie just says, "Hey, I was still using that." While he fires at the family and fires every bolt, like just reloads immediately and starts firing everyone into the family. And Millie says, "Wow, good shot." And so does Luna. They both start clapping while Moxie's horrified. And Moxie just says, I guess I'll go ahead and try." As soon as Midoriya hands him the, crossbow, he loads it, he aims at the family, is about to shoot, but then he says, "I can't do it." He lifts the crossbow up and accidentally fires. It shoots all up, it shoots at the top of the roof, and then it starts bouncing around and ricocheting right into the eels, the tank of eels, and the tank of eels falls out, and as soon as it does, it hits a power line for their building, and all the power turns off. And immediately, Blitzo was showing her, his client, that the skills that they showed. Once she saw that, she was like, "You're gonna butcher this, aren't you?" She said, No, we're not. Also, did we mention if we fail to get the job done in an hour and a half, then the first job's free?" He immediately says that to her, and they immediately go down the stairs and are outside the building. She's in the car, drives off, and Moxie immediately says, "Wait, when did we have that advertisement, sir?" Moxie immediately says, "When he started fucking up your shot in front of the clients and embarrassing us." While Izuku was like, "Well, I don't think we should take him. I really don't think. After all, he's hesitating shooting a family, and if that girl has a family or something," while Blitzo just says, the way she said she was a whore, so I don't think she's going to have a family or anything. Immediately, a few hours later, they finally reached into the human world through Izuku's portal, and they're walking to a cabin. Blitzo, Moxie, and Izuku, with Millie in the back behind them. Moxie pulls out the sniper rifle and is about to aim towards her head. And Blitzo says, "Go ahead and take the shot." Moxie looks around and sees an entire family, and he says, "But sir, she has a family." And Blitzo says, "We're not killing the whole family, we're just killing one person, we're ruining a family." While Blitzo literally notices that Moxie is hesitating and says, "Just go ahead and fire the damn thing." And right when he says that, he startles Moxie, and Moxie shoots beside her, immediately alerting the family, and her blue eyes turn red, and all of them start looking at the window, and they see all 4 of them, and start saying, "Hey, looks like we got some intruders." And the man pulls out a shotgun and starts shooting through the wall towards them, and blows a hole in the cabin wall. And Moxie, Millie, Blitzo, and Midoriya say, "Leave it to Moxie to fuck it all up." While Moxie just says, "Hey, it was the family." Immediately, Midoriya grabs the sniper rifle and says, at least I'm going to kill one of them. He pulls the sniper towards his eye. He starts getting position before the guy can reload his shotgun again. He shoots the girl that their target was right in the head, and they all start running off. Immediately, the guy says, no! My wife! He starts grabbing onto her and says, you will all pay! The kids start running out, and they all start getting chased. Izuku, Millie, and Moxie, and Blitzo all start running in different directions. Currently, Blitzo's having to deal with the guy with a shotgun. He's immediately starting to circle around the woods while Blitzo's behind a tree until his ringtone goes off. And he immediately pulls out his phone and answers and says, what is it? While shotgun just starts getting fired and the tree he was hiding behind gets blown to smithereens. He immediately starts running through the forest while talking to Solus, who's on the phone. Solus ends up saying, I just wanted to let you know that I need the book for a special event that's coming on tomorrow. I would like for us to have an arrangement, favors for favors, if you wouldn't mind, while Blitzo's literally running through the forest, ducking down for the shotguns, and literally hiding behind every tree possible while doing this conversation. He immediately says, alright, so how about this? I do something for you, you do something for me. As he has a seductive voice going on, and Blitzo says, sure. You know what, we'll just have the book to you by tomorrow. We don't really need it that much anymore anyway. While he says this, Solus says, wait, what? So, you don't need the book that often anymore? Why? He immediately says, I'll tell you later, just drop by the office later on. And then, immediately, Solus says, oh, I'll do more than just drop by your office. I'll drop by in you. And he starts saying tons of stuff that I cannot say because of YouTube. But everything starts getting bleeped, and he just throws his phone directly at the guy. And immediately as he throws the phone directly at the guy with a shotgun, he drops his shotgun, picks the phone, and literally listens in, and then he ends up hearing, I'm gonna f*** you with all my tentacles, with all my beak, and I'm going to... And then as soon as he heard this, he threw that phone straight away. It flew so far, it landed into the lake, right where Millie was hiding underneath. And she heard all that was happening from the phone, and she started saying, that man, Solus man, is really deranged. While the guy started to still chase Blitzo with the shotgun, Moxie's being held hostage by the kids, and he finally just managed to escape after, being shown taxidermy of human beings, and how they are sadistically trying to play with him with knives. He kicks the shit out of both of them, and just immediately ties them up. He runs out of the building and starts to try to help Sir, but Sir Blitzo immediately ended up being caught by the guy, and he was literally dragged all the way into the middle of the forest, tied up to a tree, and there was firewood all around him. He immediately was about to throw fire, but right when he did, it burned Blitzo, and Midoriya, who was hiding nearby, saw this, and he had the sniper rifle still in hand. He pointed towards the guy, was about to fire, but Moxie immediately ran up behind him with a machete and tried to slice at him. And once he tried to slice at him, he noticed, holy shit, I just fucked up Midoriya's shot when he looked to the side. And Midoriya, who was about to fire, was like, you fucked my shot up. Damn it, Moxie, why you gotta be such a Moxie? And Moxie's like, I didn't mean to. As he gets punched in the gut by the guy just says, wow, I would have been done for if it wasn't for you, little guy. He picks up Moxie by the head and says, well, now I'm just gonna use it as a shield so that guy doesn't snipe me. And immediately as he does that, he gets sniped to the side of the head. And he says, oh, shit. He falls to the ground, and immediately out of the woodworks comes Millie with a sniper rifle. She says, I brought it back up. While she unties Blitzo and Blitzo gets out of the fire, and literally Midoriya comes out of his hiding spot. They all converge together, and Moxie apologizes for messing up the shot and everything, and immediately Midoriya says, "No big deal. We all expected you to screw it up anyway." And Blitzo said, "Yeah, we actually did. So did Millie." And immediately Midoriya said, "All right, Millie, you owe me $20. We all bet that he wouldn't shoot. Like, who bet that he wouldn't shoot? You bet he would shoot. You owe me and Blitzo $20. Come on." She pays up $20 to both of them, and Moxie says, "I'm insulted. You guys thought that I wouldn't do it, but I'm really happy that you thought I would." As she looks at Millie immediately just says, "Oh wait, also we have a problem apparently." As she looks around, she sees that the guy left. The guy was shot through the side of the head, but it didn't go all the way through. He ran towards his house, went towards his kids, and was about to leave. Moxie ended up asking if he could go after them. Immediately, Millie, Blitzo both said, "Oh yeah, sure." Before you go, Blitzo grabbed Moxie and gave him a hug and said, whispered in his ear, "If you do this again, I will fuck your wife in front of you." And Blitzo said, "Wait, what, sir?" Before he got Midoriya to open up a portal. Once Midoriya opened up a portal, they immediately were about to walk through it, except for Midoriya, who literally was walking towards a mountain and said, "We gotta do it at a mountain, preferably," is what he said before they walked to the portal. And they said, "Oh yeah, so we can get a view of everything." And immediately they walked towards the mountain, and Moxie was just running all the way towards the house, the cabin. Once he walked in, he saw the man with his kids, and he pointed a gun right beside the man's head, and he said, You should really do better for your kids. You know that, right? Murdering and doing all this is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to raise them as normal. They're going to end up as freaks or end up being serial killers in the future." As he says this, he's like, "Yeah, I know." And he says, "I'm going to go ahead and call the earthly authorities, and they can deal with this." And he picks up what he thinks is a phone, and he presses it. He turns on the TV, and he says, "Your phone isn't working." Well, he says, "Oh, that's just a universal remote." The kids adore it, while Moxie just says, "Aw, that's cool." He immediately starts to grab the phone on the side. He calls the authorities, and then he walks out. He goes all the way up to the mountain where Midoriya, Blitzo, and immediately Millie are there. They open up the portal. They all walk through, and Moxie looks back one time, and then he sees the authorities all around the cabin, sees a helicopter drop a bomb on the cabin, and he immediately has his jaw opened up, and he's like, before being grabbed by Midoriya and thrown through the portal. And once they're back into the I.M.P building, they immediately started eating cake with their customer. Once they were all getting a slice of cake, immediately Midoriya gave Moxie one, and Moxie said, the whole family got blown up. While the customer said, "Well, that was messed up, but hey, I paid for it." And every single one of them will start laughing except for Moxie. He was like, they blew up. And that's where I'm going to end What If Deku Had the I.M.P Quirk Part 3.